What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to make this surf and turf salad for lunch. It's got beef tri-tip in it, it's got lobster tail cooked on a Traeger, cucumber. We made some chimichurri paste that we then turned into a dressing. I'm going to show you how to make that all right at home in your kitchen. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Gotta get a little bit of everything here. You don't have to try this for lunch, but you do have to try this. I'm Neighbor, and this is the Neighbor's Kitchen. Let's get cooking.
Alright, we're going to start with a tri-tip. I got this one from Butcher Box. And a 1/4 sheet baking pan with drying rack. We're going to get out some coarse kosher salt and some black pepper. Something to mix with, and a measuring device. Okay, so you're going to want to unwrap your tri-tip and pat it dry with a paper towel. Something that's disposable will work just fine here. Yep. Oh, go ahead and drop it. Get the other side, just pat it nice and dry. You don't want to waste all your seasoning. Yep. And now we're going to do a 2-to-1 ratio, salt to pepper. So that is a 1/2 tablespoon. Don't worry about that clump, you'll get it out later. So there's one. And now we're going back for a second one. Okay. And since we already got the 2, now we need the 1. You can adjust this as necessary if you get a bigger hunk of meat. I believe this is a 24-ounce tri-tip, which is a pretty decent size. And we're going to go over here and get a spoon. Just beat up that clump you found. You don't have to waste that. It's still perfectly fine. And then mix it up. Make sure you have a nice even mix because we're going to spread this out with our fingers. There we go. Get all the little clumpies. You don't want the clumpies on your meat. That's okay. Alright, set that aside. And now we're going to position ourselves here. Use one hand for turning your meat and one hand for spreading your seasoning. So go nice and evenly. See, I'm doing that with my right hand. And when it comes time to flip it, you want to use your opposite hand. This way you're not sticking all the seasoning from your clean jar with a contaminated hand. Get all the sides. Don't forget that side. There you go. That'll do nicely. Yep, nice and evenly. This is a big chunk of meat, so it's okay. You can season it pretty liberally. It'll take it. It's not going to be overpowering, I promise you. There we go. Yep. So it was at that moment right there I noticed that piece of silver skin. And if you wait for it. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to keep seasoning it because why not? I mean, that's just what Neighbor does, I suppose. So, okay, we're still seasoning. That's good. Okay, I don't know what that. I think I cast a spell on it. Okay, there it is. So you can leave this on if you wanted to, but the thing about silver skin is it will not allow your meat to season properly. So the only flavor that you would get out of your seasoning right there is strictly going to be on the surface. So if you have the time and the willpower and you find some silver skin, you should remove it. Just take a nice sharp knife and do as you're watching me do right now. Yep. And then, so since you removed the seasoning that was already on there, once you get it off, you're going to want to go back over with your seasoning and re-season it. And so, for the record, I forgot to mention, this is being dry brined. So this current scene right here is actually happening the night before. You can season beef up to 24 hours before you need to cook it. There's nothing wrong with that. It sits right there on the drying rack in the fridge up to 24 hours. Okay, let's go fire up our Traeger. So switch it to on, hit the smoke setting, let it start doing its magical things. Get your grill brush, clean up the stuff from last time. could just clean it up after you're done with it every time, but, you know, that would be easy or something. So, we're just going to get it good and cleaned up here. There's nothing wrong with that. Yep. Move your thermometer out of the way. Nice and clean. Now you're going to let it come up to temperature. Okay. I always like to get one of these sanitary cloths and wipe my thermometer probe clean. That I do like to do before everything. Okay, so we're going to be using Traeger Premium Hardwood Pro Blend this time. To be honest with you, I don't know if I've bought the same twice. This is just what we're going with today. Okay, so now we're going to preheat to 275. Yep. Okie dokie. Bring out your tri-tip. I'd like to note that this should be outside of the fridge for about an hour before you do this. Then you insert your probe, pretty centered. Yep, just like so. Tighten that up so you don't lose it. And shut the lid. Okay, let's go make our chimichurri. Alright, we're going to start off with some parsley. Take that big old zip tie thing out of there. And then you're going to want to get a knife. And you want to cut the leaves. See where my left hand is on the stems? You want to avoid getting too many stems in there. It won't hurt anything, but it'll be an inconsistent texture. Yep. So make it into a manageable pile. This is roughly going to come out to be 3/4 cup chopped parsley, and then we're going to go get our oregano, or if you don't speak goofy like I do, I guess oregano. And here, same thing as the parsley, you don't want the big stems, so you want to start separating the little leaves, just as you see me doing right there. Yeah, see that stem? That's what you don't need. You can set that aside, put that in your trash can, and then keep doing the same thing. Roughly, this will come down to about 2 tablespoons or so. I know it looks a lot more than that, but that's because it's in leaf format right now. Once it gets chopped, it'll reduce down. I promise, you can trust me. And it does not have to be exact. This will just get you close, and then you can modify it on your own. So now we're going to go with some olive oil. We're going to put that at the bottom of our food processor. Roughly 1 to 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to grab some red wine vinegar. You can use your favorite kind of vinegar as a substitute, no problem. That's just my favorite. And you want about an equal amount of that as you put in olive oil. Now we're going to put in our parsley. And you see how it'll creep up on the top of the food processor here. That's okay. We're going to reduce it down with a little bit of electricity. So, yep, okay, that's all. Go get the lid. You're about to see some magic happen. Okay, there we go. So we're going to alternate between chop and grind a little bit. But just kind of mix it up. And then put some more in until you have everything in. Right like so. Okay. See? Told you we'd get there. At this point, it's starting to smell fantastic. I remember right about here, I decided I was hungry. And then I was just like, okay, let's get going. And I might have hit the chop button for a little bit too long, but that's okay. Because then we got a wooden spoon, and we're going to mix it up a little bit. Right like so. Okay. So now we're going to want to season it with some salt and pepper. I have no idea how much I used, Everybody is so different on what they believe is the right amount. Just do this to taste. That's your own prerogative. A few shakes of crushed red pepper. Don't skip that. You can, but you shouldn't. That really adds to the flavor. Now, since we're going to make this into a dressing, I'm going to use garlic paste. If you wanted to just make chimichurri, you can use regular garlic. But I have found that the paste mixes very well. Okay. Now we're going to get a lemon. And we're going to cut it in half. And we're going to squeeze all the juices right into the food processor. Oh, we just made a mess. Goodness. And then squeeze the other half. Oh, there's a Sadie girl in the background, checking out what's for lunch. Yeah, try and get it all. Doesn't matter if you get seeds in it. So at this point, I looked over and I saw there was a little bit of parsley left. So I went and I grabbed that, cut the rest up. And since we're adding more to our recipe, gotta go back and add a little bit more oregano. So I grab one more stem. And just put the leaves in there, right like so. See, there's that stem you don't want to get. Just grab the little leafies, that's okay. And put the top back on your food processor. Go back and forth, back and forth, right like so. Yep. There you go. Push it down to the bottom. Make sure it's nice and consistent. Hit it with some more chops and some more grinds. There you go. Better go get a spoon, because one of the best things about cooking is tasting it. So check out to see what you got there. Yeah, and the verdict is... yep, fantastic. So we're going to take this off of the food processor. Take the blade out. Clean it up a little bit. You don't want to waste this stuff because it's super good. The more the merrier, I believe is what they say. So there's that. Yep. Push it all down to the bottom. I don't know why you felt the need to do that, but that's okay. Now we're going to take our lobster tails. And we're going to spread some chimichurri on... Oh, man, why are you making messes? Well, you also know who it gets to clean up, so that's okay. So you want to spread a little bit of chimichurri on your lobster tails. I did not show you how to prepare these. There are plenty of YouTube videos on how to prepare a lobster tail, from thawing and taking it out of the shell, or whatever the lobster exterior is called. So yeah, get a healthy helping of chimichurri on your lobster tails, and you want to make sure to save some for later. Okay. Looks like our tri-tip is coming up to be about at 85 degrees at this point. He's doing a good job. So let's go ahead and put our lobster tails on. Here's one. And there's two. Close the lid. Now let's go inside and make our dressing. So you're going to want to get some kind of a mixing bowl. I've always been a fan of these stainless steel ones. I'm not real sure where I got them, but they've proven themselves to be pretty good. And so you want to get some kind of a device. Get the rest of the chimichurri out of your food processor and into the bowl of your choice. And remember, don't waste this. Leftovers are your friend in this instance. Yep, there you go. Get it all. Okay. I like to make my dressings with sour cream and mayo. You can probably omit one or the other if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it. So now I get 2 spoons, one as to not contaminate my jar of mayo, and go just about equal portions sour cream and mayo, and then use the other spoon and start mixing it up. So you'll see right now it looks a little thick to be a dressing. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to take care of that. So just mix it up real good. Take a taste. That's important. Salt and pepper. That's 2 pinches. Some seasoned rice vinegar. Yes, this is the second kind of vinegar that is in this at this point. Seasoned rice vinegar gives the heat just a little bit of sweet, and then it also makes it a little bit more of the consistency of dressing. You see how that loosened up just like that? Very good. See where you're at. Take a taste. Okay. It's at this point that I can admit, in the beauty of voiceovers, that I'm trying something new for the first time that you're about to see not work. I recently purchased these little funnels, thinking that would be something that I need, and the design is just not great. There's a little collar at the bottom of the funnel, and it just really constricts flow. So, as you can see here, we would be here all day trying to fill that container. So, I'm going to show you how to fix it in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So whenever you have a problem that involves funneling, what I like to do is grab a bag of some sort. Since we're not making a big batch, I'm just going to use a sandwich bag. And you're going to shovel it in right like so. Yep. That's a really good camera angle. Good job. Come on, neighbor. Show the people what they want. They don't want to see the top of your hand. That's okay. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm doing here. Okay. So once you get it all, you want to make sure to make a giant mess. That's important. Try to get it all, because that's efficiency. Spill a little bit on the bag. That's okay. You can have that as a taste. Yeah, told you. Now you're going to seal it up. Right like so. Grab your favorite pair of kitchen scissors and cut one of the corners off, like so. Now you basically have made yourself a pastry bag that doubles as a funnel, and you can squeeze it right into your container, like so. Yep. And that is how you make your own chimichurri style dressing. Okay, go ahead and put the lid on. And you can set that aside for when you're ready for it. Alright, so we're off the grill. We're going to let the tri-tip and the lobster tail rest for a few minutes, and we're going to start getting our ingredients together. So I really like cucumber with pretty much any style seafood, and it complements the tri-tip, which is, in my opinion, one of the beefiest flavor cuts of beef, if that makes sense. I like to cut my cucumber like you just saw, and you leave some of the skin on. It just adds for a little extra crunch. Okay, now we're gonna cut our cucumber into slices, about 3/16 of an inch. I'm just kidding. You don't have to be that precise. Cut it however you like it. Cut however many you like. Keep in mind, I'm cooking this just for me, and my plan is to get at least 2 to 3 servings out of it. So that's what I want for one bowl. Look at that tri-tip. It is so juicy. And those lobster tails, look how nice and pink and smoked they are. Lovely. Let's go ahead and slice this up here. Yep, there's the first cut. Look at that. I believe that Sadie smells the meat, and she has to investigate on whether or not she's going to get any. The truth is, she did not get any because I just didn't want to share my tri-tip with my dog. Okay, so you see me cutting this into smaller pieces here. Whenever you serve somebody a salad, you always want to think about the difficulty of eating from a bowl. You don't want to serve somebody a salad and then have to absolutely also give them a knife for it. So just prepare it right out of the gate, how people can get bite-size everything, regardless of if you're making this salad or a different salad. Don't work for it yourself, and don't make your guests work for it. You want to pretty much just serve them a salad and a fork. Well, you don't serve them a fork. You offer them a fork to feed themselves. So I cut my lobster in about roughly the same size as I did my tri-tip pieces. And then I'm going to get my cucumber slices stacked here. Don't worry, we're going all in later. I'm going to get a bowl out. And I'm going to use some arugula today. Hindsight being 20/20, I think I would have preferred baby spring mix with some spinach in it, but it's good to try new things, and I encourage you to do the same thing. This was very good. Use what you like. So we're gonna get a nice bed of arugula put down, like so. Put that to the side. Then we're gonna get our poker chips, cucumber slices, and we're gonna line them around the outside in a nice decorative manner. Don't be afraid, even if all you're doing is cooking for yourself, to put a little extra effort into presentation. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nice and evenly. That was the perfect amount of cucumber. Now we're going to place our beef tri-tip in a manner that's probably completely unnecessary, but why shouldn't it look like an asterisk? There we go. Perfect. Oop, better sneak a taste. Alright, let's load up our smoked lobster tail, seasoned with chimichurri. Right like so. Look at that. And then we're gonna get out our chimichurri based dressing. That happens to be too thick for the nozzle. That's okay. Fortunately, somebody invented lids, and we can remedy that issue relatively easily. There we go. Perfect. Load it up as much or as little as you like. And it is time to eat.